In this video, we're going to be talking about negotiating and body language. People don't realize that we negotiate every time. We negotiate when we're talking to our kids, when we're talking to our neighbor, when we're talking to, your mailman. We're always negotiating. Now, entrepreneurs, business people, marketing people, we actually negotiate on a higher end of things. And we all approach negotiations differently, especially men and women. An interesting fact is that men initiate negotiations both in real life and in the business world 4 times more than women. Another surprising statistic is that women actually own 40% of all businesses in the United States, but receive only 2.3% of the available equity capital that is needed for growth. Male-owned companies receive the other 97.7%. Women and men also approach negotiation differently. When asked to pick metaphors to pick the process of negotiations, men chose actually winning a ball game, and women chooses going to a dentist. Now, which one are you? Do you think it's a challenging game, or is it as bad as getting your tooth pulled? I hope that as you are learning body negotiation techniques, you will earn and know that you have an edge at a negotiation table. I'm sure that this goes without saying that whenever possible, negotiate in person. If you have to do it virtually, insist doing it over video. If you cannot see their face, you lose a huge negotiation advantage. And if they can't see your nonverbals, you miss an opportunity for leverage. It's a good idea to actually research the other team as much as possible. Of course, you want to be able to get as much information as possible about their positions, and at the same time as research their body language. If you can find videos or pictures of them, get an idea of their baseline before they even walk into the room. This gives you a huge advantage because you already have a pretty good idea of their baseline and can focus the reading of their nonverbals. This is an advanced technique. Once you get the hang of it, it can be a really helpful tactic. So research has shown that people who sit in a public place with their back to the open room has a higher heart rate and blood pressure. This makes sense at an evolutionary standpoint because when people can't see who's approaching them from behind, it's hard to relax. So people are much less likely to be able to say yes if they can't get comfortable. If you're negotiating or have an important meeting at a public place, at a coffee shop or restaurant, you want to be able to put that person in a decision-making position to be able to face the open room. This will give them more ease to be able to make a positive decision. I always like to go into a meeting ahead of time so that I can actually start looking around and which table will be a good table to be able to use. And additional things, we want to also be able to think about who is the person that needs to be at ease if we are working with a group of people. Before going into negotiation, you want to be able to review all your rapport building strategies. Mirroring is one aspect of rapport building techniques. At the beginning of the negotiations, slight mirroring can help both sides align. One study published in a social psychology bulletin, they found that when employees mirror the voice patterns and verbal activities during interviews, they received nearly 30% better terms during employments. Practice verbal and vocal mirrorings to be able to increase your chances for better terms. There are a few nonverbal cues to look out for during negotiations. These cues can clue you in what the other side is thinking. When someone exposes their palm, it typically means that they're being truthful. If they keep their hands hidden under the table, or put their hands in the pocket, or clench their fists, they are probably withholding some information. See what questions you could ask to be able to get the other person to literally have them open their hands. We have talked a lot about blocking behaviors. Blocking is what somebody does when they want to physically or emotionally block something that they do not like. We can engage in a number of ways with blocking behaviors. First, object blocking. People will actually put objects between themselves and others to be able to put a physical barricade. We block or barricade subconsciously when we don't like something or someone that we're talking to. For example, so in negotiations, people might pull something in front of them, like their copy or binder in front of them, when a topic comes up that they're nervous about. The other kind of blocking behavior is eye blocking. This happens when people put their hands in front of their eyes to physically block out what they are seeing. Again, this is all subconscious. People can eye block by grabbing the bridge of their nose, rubbing their eyes, pulling at their eyes, or even putting their hand in front of their face. These are all subconscious gestures on what we do when we're trying not to see what we don't like. So you want to be able to watch this during meetings and negotiations because both kind of blockings can be cues to sensitive topics. The tongue catch is when someone briefly sticks out their tongue and catches it between their teeth. Now, this is a funny move, and we typically do this when we feel that we've been caught doing something. So for example, let's say you're in a negotiations and you ask why there is a certain clause in the contract. The other person goes, oh, with that. You want to be able to pay attention to that, whatever comes out of their mouth next, because you just caught them red-handed with something that they tried to get away with. Perhaps they didn't want you to be able to notice that clause, or you might not like something in it. According to some fascinating research in negotiations, there are certain things negotiators lie the most about. These are the areas that you want to be able to pay attention and make sure you watch for red flags and micro expressions. First thing, negotiators lie the most often about their bottom line and their final offer. Second, 28% lie about common interests. And the third most popular thing that negotiators lie about is their intentions. In this way, you always want to be able to end meetings and negotiations by asking, is there anything that you want to be able to tell me? Or is there anything else that I should know? Let's talk a little bit about your nonverbal behavior when you're negotiating. Since we talked about reading other people's nonverbal cues, let's talk about you this time. In negotiations, both sides go back and forth on different issues. Often, there are very different importances. For example, timeline might be a small issue, but cost may be a big one. You can actually use your hands to demonstrate the importance of each issue. This is a great use of nonverbal behavior. If you watch politicians such as Bill Clinton or Ronald Reagan, you see them use their hands a lot to be able to demonstrate which concepts are most or least important. Let me give you an example of how you can use this in negotiations. You can say something, look, it seems like we have finally come to a consensus about the project or about the price. So let's work out the payments and work a schedule out of this. Okay, so this is another advanced concept, but works amazingly well in negotiations and other areas of your life, if you can master it. It's the idea that we can use our body to indicate our emotional preferences instead of our words. So in negotiations, you show nonverbal agreement when things are going well. And when you disagree with someone, you purposefully change your body language. You can practice this in casual settings before using it in business. I like to do it when I'm actually trying to go to a swap meet or anything, but you want to be able to practice this with other people or with your family members. When you're in agreement with a person, you lean forward, keep an open torso, nod, tilt your head, engage your face, smile, and lift your eyebrows. You do the approachable, positive body language when you agree with them. When you don't agree with them, you lean back, close your body, frown, shake your head, touch your mouth, and stay silent. You will notice that if you do this, you can get the person to begin to negotiate with themselves without saying too much.